Hello, everybody, and welcome to Stony Brook Field, where we are getting set for the second home game of the Brewster Whitecaps season, as the Whitecaps are set to take on the visiting Kettleers in a battle of second-place teams here from the East and the West. Welcome inside our broadcast booth. I'm Carter Wadil alongside Aiden Doyle. Mara Sheridan will be joining us in just a minute. And Aiden, Brewster coming off a big victory last night against the Wareham Gatemen. Jamie Shevchik was very happy with his team's performance, and none other than Chandler Taylor, who hit another home run, 3 homers in 2 games for him.
Yeah, he's really seeing the ball well, and how can Coach Shevchik not be happy with the way his team swung the bats yesterday? 9 runs, 16 hits. They still left 7 men on base, but it still resulted in a 9-2 win, so no complaints there. The pitching, once again, was fantastic. J.R. McDermott, even though he wasn't quite as sharp as his first start against the Hyannis Harborhawks, pitched well, went 4 1/3, giving up just 1 earned run while striking out 7. And then the bullpen trio of Andy Pagnozzi, William Tribuker, and Robert Broom really shut down that Wareham Gateman lineup to give the Brewster Whitecaps their 4th win of the season.
And on the mound for Brewster today, it's going to be Tony Losi. Let's go over to Maura Sheridan, who's got more on the Whitecaps starter. Maura?
Well, guys, I was talking to Coach Shevchik before the game, and he said that he's expecting a lot from Losi as a starter this year, but he also said that he knows that Losi's young. He just came off his freshman season, and that he can be a little wild. He tends to walk people a little more than Shevchik would prefer, and he said that he's on a bit of a short leash today, just kind of watching him on his first start. He already played against Hyannis, but this is his first start today, so Shevchik just said he's watching him. He's going to make sure that he's very composed at the mound, but otherwise he does expect Losi to be a starter on this team. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you, Maura. Losi pitched the final frame of that 6-1 victory in Hyannis, gave up 1 run on 1 hit, walked a couple of hitters, as you said, prone to that. Did get 2 Ks to knock up there for that one for Brewster. The Whitecaps coming into this game at 4-2-1. The Kettleers at 4-4. And for Kettleers, they're trying to break a losing string. They're coming off 4 losses in a row. Their last victories were this past Sunday in a doubleheader against Brewster. What do you think Kettleers going to have to do to kind of recapture that magic, Aiden?
Well, I talked to their broadcasters before the game, and they said it's really been a combination of some struggles on the pitching mound, especially in the bullpen. Their starters have been giving them quality innings, quality starts, giving this Kettleers offense a chance to win the game. The bullpen, however, not being able to secure it, and then obviously, as you've seen, a 4-game losing streak for Kettleers. So I think if I'm the Kettleers, what I'm really looking to do is get out to a big early lead. The top of this Kettleers lineup, Griffin Conine, Grayson Genesta, John Cresto, even Zach Cohn and Kinnaman, there's some really strong hitters in that lineup. If they can score a few runs early, put the pressure on Brewster to have to come back against this lineup, it gives that bullpen some breathing room so that they're not having, a 1-run game when they turn the ball over to the bullpen. There's a lot more comfort, there's more cushion for that bullpen, a little bit easier for the bullpen to come in and secure a Kettleers victory.
And it sure seems like the league as a whole is dealing with something like that, too. I think Brewster's a bit of an anomaly that they've been able to lean on their bullpen so hard over the course of the season. It's been, you talk about how it becomes a pitcher's league on the Cape in the first few games. So far, that hasn't quite been the case, especially for Kettleers. They haven't given up. It's been since that doubleheader, every team that they have faced has scored more than 5 runs against them, and it's awfully tough to win games when you can't put up zeros on the mound.
Yeah, that's true. And pitching wins championship. Pitching and defense wins championships. I think that's true at every level, whether it be here on the Cape, in the major leagues, in the College World Series, wherever it may be. You really got to rely on the guys on the mound and your defense behind you. We saw that with Brewster even early on. The pitching was good, but the defense struggled, and that led to 2 losses against this Kettleers team, especially in Game 1 of that doubleheader. 2 errors in the 9th inning led to an unearned run off of Robert Broom. That gave Kettleers the walk-off victory. And we saw, obviously, how that one ended. So the defense there is what let this Whitecaps team down. So if I'm Jamie Shevchik, though, I look at that and say, just make the plays you have to make in the field. Because this was a team that, even though you lost to them twice in one day, you were this close to being, minuscule amounts away from, either splitting the doubleheader or taking both games in Kettleers.
The lineup that Jamie Shevchik will be trotting out here for this rematch of that doubleheader is as follows. It's sponsored by Chatham Bars Inn. Leading off, it's A.J. Graffinino, the shortstop. Connor Smith is back in the lineup today. He will be playing second base and hitting second. Mickey Gasper is in the 3-hole. He'll be doing the catching. Nick Dunn is the designated hitter for Brewster today. He is hitting 4th. Marty Costas is in the 5 spot out in left field. Chandler Taylor back in the lineup at first base, batting in the 6th hole. Darius Hill will be hitting 7th and playing right field. Devin Foyle is back in the starting lineup for Brewster. He'll be patrolling center. And Christian Molfetta will be rounding out the Brewster Whitecaps order. He'll be playing 3rd base and batting 9th. Nathan, what do you think the Kettleers are going to have to look for up and down this lineup? So far, it's been a power surge, especially their past couple of games.
Yeah, 2 guys stick out, and to me, it's Mickey Gasper, Chandler Taylor. Gasper has another game under his belt since sitting out a game with a thumb injury. Now maybe a little bit closer to back to being 100%. Taylor swinging the bat as well as anyone at any level in baseball right now. 3 home runs in his last 2 games. You can't stop him. You can only hope to contain him.
All right, we'll be taking a quick break for the national anthem, and then we'll come back with the Kettleers lineup and some baseball here from Stony Brook Field. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball. Welcome back to Stony Brook Field, getting ready for the Whitecaps and the Kettleers here in the second home game of Brewster's schedule and game number 8 on the season for them, the 9th for Kettleers. The lineup for the visiting team, Griffin Conine is leading off playing right field. He has a homer and 7 runs driven in on the year. Grayson Genesta will be hitting in the 2 spot and patrolling center. John Cresto is hitting 3rd and playing 3rd. Zach Cohn will be the cleanup hitter, playing shortstop. Brett Kinnaman is in the 5 hole out in left field. Chandler Avant making his first start of the year, his first game of the season. He was called up just recently. He will be hitting 6th and be the DH for the Kettleers today. Gian Martellini is catching and hitting 7th. Mitch Bagras is playing first base and hitting 8th. And the second baseman batting 9th is Luke Alexander. And on the mound will be Brian Rapp for the Kettleers out of Boston College. What do you think the Whitecaps should be expecting for him? It's going to be an all-BC battery today between him and Martellini catching.
Well, I think that's exactly what Mike Roberts was going for. I think we talked when Ryan Avedano got the start for the Whitecaps at Red Wilson Field in Yarmouth with Michael Curry getting the start behind the plate. Coach Shevchik said, yeah, that was something that I kept in mind, the fact that they're both Georgia Bulldogs. Here, Kettleers going with a BC Eagles battery. Here on the Cape, early in the summer, establishing that chemistry, you want to go with someone that the pitcher and the catcher are obviously familiar with. So I think that helps these guys who are just getting here, still adjusting, still learning about their teammates, getting to know them, feel a little bit more comfortable and have success out on the field.
Tony Losi now taking his warm-up pitches. His battery hit with Mickey Gasper. Whitecaps are wearing their special Redshirt Friday uniforms here for this game as part of the Cape Cod League support for the military. Bright red tops with Cape Cod written on the front in script. And the visiting team, Cotuit, is wearing their maroon jerseys with Cotuit on the front in black and black numbering on the back. And we are just about ready to begin things here at Stony Brook Field as Griffin Conine will dig in. And he has been on fire of late, hitting .469 on the season in 32 at-bats. A .719 slugging percentage, just the one home run, but 7 runs driven in. Conine getting set to go. Hitting from the left side up against Losi. And Tony will toe the rubber, and we are just about ready to begin this game here at Stony Brook Field. Here comes the first pitch. It's swung and fouled away, and we are underway. Conine, a rising junior out of Duke University. Hit .298 this spring with 13 homers for the Blue Devils. The pitch is taken in there for a strike on the outside corner, so says home plate umpire John Patala. He's joined by Brian Troop over at third and Mickey Garcia at first base. That's our umpiring crew for this ball game. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Swan hit hard right through the middle. It's going to drop into center field for a base hit out in front of Foyle out in center field. So Conine continues his hot hitting, and the leadoff man is aboard for Cotuit.
Well, before the game, the big talk with Tony Losi was just, having the ability to throw strikes. But against a guy like Conine, you don't want to throw too many strikes. Just really having a lot of success up at the plate so far for Cotuit. .468 coming into this game. Obviously, he had the home run against the Whitecaps at Lowell Park on Sunday. 7 RBI. Just a monster there in the left-handed batter's box for the Kettleers.
And now it's Grayson Genis' turn. Genis also digging in from the left side. The pitch is swung and fouled away toward the left side. And you said on the Brewster defense here, no Foyles out in center field, as I mentioned. Marty Casas will be playing left, and Darius Hill is out in right field. The defense for the Whitecaps, Christian Malfetta is starting over at third base. Graffinino is at short. Connor Smith playing second. Chandler Taylor back at first base. And Mickey Gasper behind the plate with Nick Dunn, the designated hitter for Brewster's second home game of the year. 0-1 the count on Genista. The pitch is in there for a called strike. Down and in. And the count is 0-2. Genista heading into this game hitting .258 on the young season and 31 ABs. Does have 1 home run and a pair of runs batted in. And leading the Kettleers with 4 walks. The pitch. Swann hit well out to left field. That's going to drop in for a base hit. And there are 2 on and nobody out early. Another clean single, that time from Genista.
Losi actually located his pitch relatively well there on the inner half of the plate. Genista, though, a really good hitter from the left side. Kind of got jammed a bit, but fought it off into the opposite field. Didn't make the best contact, but again, did just enough to get it in to shallow left field for a single.
So it's Conine on second, Genista on first base. With nobody out here in the top of the first inning, still no score here between Cotuit and Brewster. And now it's time for the 3-hitter John Cresto to dig in. Cresto hitting from the right side, hitting .308 and 26 at-bats this year. 1 home run, 3 runs driven in. The pitch from Losi, swing and a miss. That one a little too fast for him, and the count is 0-1. Losi's fastball hover around the low to mid-90s typically. His coaches over at Georgia would talk about, they've used the phrase aggressive confidence to describe his demeanor on the mound. Here comes the 0-1. It bounces in the dirt in front of Gasper, who blocks it nicely and prevents anybody from advancing. With 2 on and nobody out, the count now 1 ball and 1 strike on Cresto. Cresto hailing from Santa Clara University, the rising junior. Got a nice compact swing at the plate. Count is 1-1 on the righty. Losi checking the runner and deals. Drops a breaking ball in for strike 2. 1-2 the count. Losi's curveball is primarily there to balance off that heater, which is typically his bread and butter. As he shakes off a sign here from Gasper, gets the pitch he likes. Ready to deal 1-2. 2 on, nobody out, pitch. In there for a called strike 3 on the outside corner. And there's your first out of the game as Losi gets Cresto looking.
Just a great pitch by Losi there, located it perfectly on the outside part of the plate. And again, that's going to be huge. Locating those pitches on the corners. He's got great stuff. The issue, again, has just always been his command of those pitches. Like you mentioned, low to mid-90s fastball, great breaking ball. There's a reason he was ranked as the #1 pitcher in Georgia and number 51 overall by perfect game coming out of high school.
So 2 on and 1 out, and here's Zach Cohn. The pitch to him is taken outside for a ball. The count is 1 ball and no strikes on Cohn. Cohn Makatuit shortstop today. He's 11 for 26 on the year. That's a 4.23 average. No homers, 6 runs driven in. Here comes the 1-0. It's taken in for a strike at the knees. Gasper glared over at first base at Genesta, but didn't make any throw. First and second, 1 out. We're scoreless here in the top of the first inning at Stony Brook Field. Whitecaps and Kettleers just underway. Righty to righty, 1-1 the count. Checking the runner again is Tony Losi, and he deals. Swing and a miss. Fooled him there. Just looked like he foul tipped that one into the mid of the catcher Gasper, and it's 1-2. Zach Cohn, a rising junior out of Boca Raton, Florida. Facing a 1-2 count here from Losi with 2 men on. Losi holds the set and will step off. As they'll run through the signs again, will Losi and Gasper, with the count still 1 ball and 2 strikes. Brewster, as you mentioned, coming into this game at 4-2-1. Winners last night decisively against Wareham by a final score of 9-2. Whitecaps put up 16 hits in that game. Waiting on a 1-2 now from Losi. And the pitch. Swan hit hard but foul toward the right side over the Katuitt dugout. And the count will remain 1-2 on Cohn.
And it's amazing with this Kettleers lineup, just up and down, guys you don't want to mess around with. Conine and Genesta to start things off. Even Cohn batting 4th today out of Duke, another Blue Devil. 4.23 average. Right after him, Brett Kinnaman. He's only batting .217, but he did some damage, especially even defensively, against the Whitecaps at Lowell Park last Sunday.
Yeah, Katuitt has a terrific defensive team so far this season. Here comes the 1-2. It is in there for strike 3 on the outside corner. That looked like the same pitch that got Cresto a hitter ago. And Gasper is fired up, pumping his fist, gesturing at the pitcher Losi. Back-to-back Ks for him, and there are 2 gone.
Well, it basically was the same pitch. Fastball right on the outer edge, and he's doing a very good job changing speeds. I think the fastball is what he goes off of, is what he plays off of, because he throws harder than the majority of the pitchers here in the league. But don't sleep on his breaking stuff either. It's got good movement, especially the curveball, slider, whatever it is. It moves a lot.
So now here comes Brett Kinnaman, as you mentioned, Aiden. The pitch is swung on a high chopper toward first base, fielded over there by Taylor. He'll go to the bag himself, and that retires the side. So the first 2 runners get on board for Katuitt, but they failed to score in the top of the first. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 left for the Kettleers. At the end of the half, it's Katuitt nothing, and Brewster coming to bat. Don't go away. You're listening to Brewster Whitecaps Baseball.
Do you know what that sound is? That's your new digital marketing department. And your new web designer. And that's Haibu, where these experts are joined by many more, from web designers to search marketing specialists, who work hard to get your business noticed online and on mobile. Best of all, Haibu can do it all for you, or give you the tools to do it yourself. To find out more, go to haibu.com. That's HIBU.com. Or call 855-464-HIBU. Oh, that'll be your next new customer. Haibu, made for business.
Welcome back to Stony Brook Field. Whitecaps and Kettleers preparing to begin the bottom of the first inning, and the Whitecaps will take their first hacks of the game, starting with the Brewster leadoff hitter, A.J. Graffinino. We are scoreless here in the bottom of the first. Katuitt put a couple of runners on in that inning. The first two hitters reached but failed to score. A pitch to A.J. is a pitch up high from the Kettleers starter, Brian Rapp, the righty out of Boston College, called up just before the game and just for this start. We'll see where it goes from there. 1-0 pitch is left up high. Rapp has a fastball in the high 80s, so certainly not going to light up the radar gun like Tony Losi, our other starter in this game. He stares in over the webbing of his glove and is ready to deal 2-0 to the lefty Graffinino, who swings and misses. But the thing is, he's also got a curveball. It goes in the mid-70s, so a good enough difference between those two pitches. And he's able to throw that curve for strikes, which is important, obviously, when you don't have a blow-away fastball in your arsenal. 2-1 pitch is hit well out to right center field. That one's going to drop in for a base hit in front of the right fielder, Conine, and A.J. Graffinino has a leadoff single for Brewster.
Well, Rapp just left that one up in the zone. Graffinino doesn't have the most power in the world, still has yet to hit a home run in college for the Huskies, but didn't, and again, even there, kind of got it off the end of the bat, but by leaving it up, Graffinino was able to get on top of it, hit it out towards right center field, and just dropped it in over the head of the second baseman, Alexander.
So that'll bring up Connor Smith, who is back in the lineup for this game after taking the night off in terms of starting for yesterday's 9-2 victory for Brewster. Smith hitting from the right side, up against the righty Brian Rapp. And the pitch is taken for a strike on the outside corner. That was the fastball there, and the count is 0-1 on Smith. Smith on the year is 5 for 15. I'm no math major, but I'm pretty sure that's a .333 average. 423 on base percentage.